Okay. Good morning, everybody. We're going to go ahead and jump in. We've had a little good change of agenda this morning. And Kelly and Aaron, thanks for arranging to have Nick here this morning. So we're glad to welcome Nick Capozzi, our broadband manager, back again. He was here last week, and then lots have changed since then. So Nick, I'm just going to turn it over to you and let you. You don't have anything more to share, I assume. You don't have
Yeah,
another.
I mean, the big update, obviously, we did receive that letter last Friday from
Yeah.
U.S. Commerce. So, at this point, we're still trying to assess what impacts that's going to mean for the state. But while we're doing that, the application window is closed for the digital equity capacity program on our website. What we'll say here, $16 million isn't a small amount of money. So, it's difficult to backfill with any resources that the state has. And especially just during this time here when we're right in the middle or towards the end, I hope, of the legislative session at the Capitol. So, I'm happy to take any questions on it right now, but that's kind of where we're at from the state side.
Okay. So that was quick and dirty. Any questions for Nick? So I get Nick. I don't know if you want to address this at this point about what's going to be the situation with Erin, who, of course, is on this call. So soon, hopefully, she's going to still be around.
Yes, Erin's still on the call, which means she's still employed with the Arizona Commerce Authority. We're working together to keep her on board. Obviously, her skill set is wide and strong, so she's going to bring value to our organization. So, we're happy to keep her on.
Great. Okay. Any questions? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just curious, would an official, because I know the newsletters go out from you guys quite often, and so will an official email go out in regards? Because I know when I was on the website the other day, it was still up, and I know things don't move as fast in government side, but just because my grant writer was going to start, and I was like, hold on, let me get some more information before you start.
Yes, good question. So the website is updated as of last night, and we are going to send out some official communication today.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else we need to know at this point, Nick? Or yes, well, there's still a lot we don't know, I guess.
I don't have anything. Aaron, I don't know if you wanted to jump in on anything.
No, that's it. Thank you.
Aaron, Kelly, I think you're on too. Do you have anything you want to add?
No, on the BEAD front, things remain the same. So the application window remains opening on June 3rd, and we're moving forward with pre-registration webinars this week and application webinars next week. The website has all those details. Yeah, so that's it on my end as far as the BEAD updates.
So Kelly, Nick, I think I saw that it looks like the feds are going to delay any more changes to BEAD until at least June or July. At least the last I saw. Have you heard anything more about that?
So what I've heard from the acting assistant secretary at NTIA is that it will be weeks, not months, and you can count the weeks on your fingers, not your toes.
Okay.
So that could be months.
That's a great line.
10 weeks, but yeah. So that's their official communication on timeline.
Okay.
That's funny.
Okay. Any other questions for Nick or Kelly or Aaron? It's just too bad we're having to go through all this, but I guess that's the way life is, which we're going to hear a little bit more about what's happening at the federal level this morning. As I said in my communication, the good, bad, and ugly of what's going on at this point in time. So with that, I'm going to, Nick, thanks for dropping in. I know you got to got to run. I don't know, Aaron and Kelly, you may have to go also, but appreciate you guys being here this morning.
All right. Thanks, Steve.
And Aaron, I sent you a note. If there's anything we can do personally or professionally to support you, please let us know.
I do appreciate that. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Anyone on this call is welcome to, and I welcome that very much. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, you've been a long-time friend here, even before you came over to ACA. So just want you to know we're behind you. Okay, so let's move on. So we have a couple of folks who are joining us this morning to talk about what's happening, the good, bad, and ugly of what's happening with at the federal level. And so glad to welcome Grace Tepper. Grace, good morning. And where's my other speaker this morning? Don't see her yet, I don't think. So why don't we, Grace, why don't we go ahead and get started with you, and then we'll see if our other presenter is going to join us this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Steve.
So you want to introduce yourself, Grace, and gonna spotlight you, and there you go.
Yeah, I can introduce myself. My name is Grace. I'm from the Benton Institute for Broadband and Society. Seeing friends on this call, so that's lovely. Hope everyone is doing well and taking care of themselves during all this crazy news. At the Benton Institute, I'm, like I said, a writing associate, so a lot of my job is spent kind of looking at state and federal policy, breaking it down so anyone can learn about it, advocate for it, advocate against it, I guess, if that's your point. But yeah, so as all of these rulings are handed down, whether it's with the USF update, which should be this summer for a ruling on this case, or whether it's BEAD or DEA, we just try to stay afloat, get the most updated news out there. Well, y'all already heard about the Digital Equity Act. There's not much else that we know either, but we are trying to compile resources on our site that might be helpful for people to learn about exactly what the Digital Equity Act is, and whether it's constitutional, and who it's there to serve, which really is everybody. So I can send some of those resources out as well. On BEAD, just to echo, yep, I think we're also under the understanding that new guidance will be very soon, and I will be counting on my fingers, not my toes. For Universal Service Fund, the Supreme Court case ruling, that should be this summer. And also related is the hotspot update that Senator Cruz led the Senate to vote program by the Congressional Review Act. This was an extension of E-rate funding under Universal Service to provide hotspots outside of the school setting. Under Cruz's motion, and using the Congressional Review Act, they would get rid of the stipulation, preventing people from using hotspots off of premises receiving the E-rate funds themselves. So this action would end that program. And because they use the Congressional Review Act, it means that the FCC can't do something substantially similar in the future. So that's kind of the update there. I'm not sure exactly if the House has reviewed this, but the Senate has voted on that stipulation. That's something else that we're keeping an eye on here at Benton. Those are kind of my high level, I guess, points to provide. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer. Oh, thank you. I saw someone in the chat said that the House does not review until May 28th. I think here at Benton, we're spending a lot of our time focusing on the Digital Equity Act, just trying to be as supportive as we can. So I can send some of these resources, including an article that we sent out yesterday, just going over what it is and why we need it. Yes, that's right, Aaron. In the House Budget Reconciliation meeting, they shut down a measure to try to bring back the ECP, so immediately killed. Yes. They also talked about AI regulation for the states as part of the budget reconciliation that the House was reviewing this week. They supported a measure that would prevent the states from doing any regulation on AI for the next 10 years, and also would enable the federal government to take off-the-shelf AI platforms, so not specifically designed for government, to be used into government services. There was also a measure about opening funding up to Spectrum, and we are also working on writing something about that. That will be on our site tomorrow for a little bit more in depth for the budget reconciliation hearing. Does anyone have any questions?
I do. This is Tracy over here at TNT Solutions. So I join these because I help businesses with technology and telecom as a consultant, and I think it's important for me to know these things. And I have several nonprofits here in the Valley, such as Heard Museum and the Archdiocese of Phoenix, that I work with. So when I'm listening to you, it sounds like some of the things you're saying could actually be beneficial for them and potentially impact them from some of the programs you had. So I'd like to connect with you because I'm going to be meeting with Heard next week, and I like to share things like that with them. The second thing is, and I'm just throwing this out here, I don't know how many of you have heard of RSA, but they're a top cybersecurity conference platform and training certification platform. They meet in 2 places in the world, and they have one here in San Francisco on an annual basis. And I am certified through them for AI data governance, generative AI, and zero trust. And the only reason I mention this is if you start hearing these words, a lot of times when we're unfamiliar to the Tekkenese speak, it sounds kind of garbly, or can you say that again? Or what exactly does that term mean? Like AI hallucinations, what does that really mean, right? So I just want you guys to know that on one of these calls, if you have like terms and you want me to help explain them, or if I can be of a resource, I'm here to help. And if I don't know the answer, chances are somewhere in my network, I can get it. Okay? Because I think that's going to be really important as people are making decisions and moving forward, making sure they understand some of those little jargons or the complete connection from a holistic standpoint of how it's integrating, especially with so many telecom companies saying, we have AI. And because I work with so many different ones, that means different things to different ones. So when you talk about the state being able to open up, that really resonated with me. And I just really appreciate that. But I just wanted to throw that out there and make sure I'm tracking with you on letting my clients know about these programs and then just offering services to anybody that has questions.
Tracy, I would love to connect with you, and I really appreciate that as someone who's always trying to learn more about exactly what the AI ecosystem looks like. And also, I know as a lot of digital navigation programs and digital skills training programs are trying to integrate more artificial intelligence into their programs, and I think it makes it particularly interesting for the digital equity field.
It does. And I just want to tell you guys over and over, data governance, data governance, data governance. What that really means is rules and process. That's what that really means. And as long as you have those clearly defined, you'll be fine.
Well, one thing I think we all know, and there's several people on this call this morning who are actively engaged in cybersecurity issues. There's Sep there and John Haas and so forth. And that is a really important issue for us as we move ahead. Okay, Grace, anything else? Any other questions for Grace?
I think that's really all for me. Yeah, let me know if anyone has any questions, or yeah, if there's any, the Benton Institute, we're trying to just share everything that's going on with the field all the time. So if there's any work that we are somehow missing, please send it my way. I'll put my email in the chat, and appreciate y'all listening to me gab about this today.
Okay, thanks, Grace, for being here. So we were expecting Amina to be here this morning, but apparently she has not been able to make it. So we'll just charge ahead.
Steve?
Yes.
This is Mala. I just wanted to know if Grace could shed some light on Senator Mullen's bill. I put that in the chat.
Yeah, I'm looking at your comment in the chat right now. I will say I think USF is maybe not my in-depth area of expertise. So other than the broad kind of timeline overview, um, I'm not sure if I could really give all that more than what this summary provides on this bill. But I'll definitely
Yes.
look into it, and if you want, I can send some resources out after this call.
Yeah.
Once I talk
That'd
to
be great. It's very interesting because USF reforms were suggested a long time ago, almost 18 months ago, by Shelby, the school's Health Libraries Broadband Coalition. And some of those things are surfacing through Senator Mulin's bill on lowering broadband costs for Consumers Act 2025. And here he's talking about expanding the base of contributions from just the phone or landline phone providers to the things that we've been suggesting all along, Netflix, Google, and um, such mechanisms that he calls edge providers. And I'm not sure how and when it's going to come to the floor. It's being reviewed right now, so it's a ways away from coming through, but it would be interesting to see how that juxtaposes with the Supreme Court decision that's likely later in the summer, as you mentioned. So that's another thing to watch out for, because if we didn't have those USF reforms, then that puts paid to E-rate completely and the four other USF programs.
absolutely.
Okay. Any other questions or comments for Grace? So Mala, this is a good transition. Any other things? There's so many things going on, and I know you're in the heart of a lot of this stuff. Do you have anything else that you want to share?
I'm going to share a couple of links in the chat right now. One is something that Shelby put out as a fly-in magazine. They had the fly-in on in I don't remember the date now. It's also blended in one into the other. But it was a couple of weeks ago that they had the fly-in to talk to Senate and House staff. And the details of that, they actually put out this magazine to talk about both protecting USF as well as IMLS funding. The second link that I've put in there has examples and case studies on USF, talks about protecting the USF and how important it is. So it's really interesting reading for anyone interested, especially Benton, because you're so interested in a lot of things that are going on in this area. And the other good news that I wanted to share, among all of the other craziness that's happening, is that Attorney General Mays, who sued the Trump administration for protecting libraries and museums, funding through IMLS, they won that case. So this case talks about the administration to stop dismantling these federal agencies that provide funding to crucial services, critical services to libraries, museums, and small businesses, and several others. It's not just libraries and museums that they were fighting for, but it's key to what we do. So I just wanted to bring that to this group that now we have to wait and see how that gets enacted, how it would get reinstated. But the good news is at least that she won her case.
You just took the words right out of my mouth, Mala. So what's going to happen? What happens now with IMLA? And I guess we just have to wait and see with a lot of this stuff at this point.
We have to just wait and see. We don't, Humpty Dumpty is broken. How he gets put together. We need to figure it out, one piece at a time.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Anything else, Mala?
No, that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Well, let's move on. And so, since we have a little time this morning, I'd like to do a couple of things. First of all, Ritika, if I can put you on the spot to just introduce yourself. As we were talking earlier, we don't see you very often, but you're doing some really important workforce development work. So would you mind kind of just telling people a little more about you?
Thank you, Steve. Um, Hi, everyone. My name is Ritika, and I'm a CEO of an entrepreneurial college and vice president over workforce program and healthcare program in Yuma, Arizona, Arizona Western College. The work we are doing is we are working with, we are the first one who created a fiber optic certificate, even the apprenticeship for fiber optics. And we have done more than 180 students go through that pipeline. And we used Quest funding, if you were aware of it, at 100% covered, free of cost. We have created also other program like cybersecurity pathway program. And for cybersecurity, we are working with Fortinet. And if you read, I shared a few weeks ago, Google even have done a study on us. And then with ASU and us are the two institutions in Arizona which are bringing the IT and the digital inclusion together in the state moving forward. The maximum of number of students trained in a professional IT support certificate was through us. Strong dual credit pathway for our IT support. That's what we're doing. Working on some other certification. And I saw Tracy was talking about AI. We are starting a center of future where we're gonna have emerging technology, a director of AI. So anything you guys need, we will be happy to have a very stackable, fast track credential to support all of you. Some other great stuff is coming. Love to give you guys tour. I know Ryan Muri was here recently and with his team to come to our campus. We are doing cyber criminology as well, just not the cybersecurity piece for the companies, but also for the border security. How can we embed that? There's a huge need on that area as well. So we are working on those certification as well. Happy to add anything or meet with you anyway, wherever we can support on any kind of work. So
Great.
thank you, Steve.
Good. Thanks, Ritika. Appreciate it.
I would just like to add really quick how exciting that was to me, what she said. So I love that. And when you said the cyber criminology, my heart leaped with joy because I've been part of data breaches where Travelers Insurance has brought me in and we have to go right into data forensics. I love that. I'm excited to see what you put together. That's wonderful.
We have a chief who retired from the Border Patrol, and he is helping us with creating all the curriculum. So it's amazing. And I'm not going to take a credit as all his work, bringing all the expertise. So, Tracy, love to share with you once it's ready to get your feedback.
Oh, thank you. That's exciting.
Okay, great. So I'm going to pick up a little bit on the cybersecurity issue in just a minute. But Holly or Anthony, do either of you have anything more to, regarding the state library at this point? Hearing nothing, I assume we're ready to move on. So in the last couple of weeks, I have been in touch with a number of people, the Center for the Future of Arizona, the Center for the Future with John Haas and several other people to explore the possibility of some kind of a cybersecurity grant using the digital inclusion money, which of course now is a mute issue, at least for the time being. But we do have a lot of exciting stuff happening in cybersecurity in the state. And I'm hoping that we can continue the discussion about some collaborative effort regarding cybersecurity, particularly as it relates to some of the populations that we've been interested in. And so I'm going to ask, John, I'm going to put you and Sep on the spot here a little bit and just kind of talk about what you guys are doing, and also to just kind of give people a little bit of a view of the kind of the collaboration that you guys already have going on with you and several other, University of Arizona and others. So, Sep, you want to start?
Well, John will probably reveal, or at least I will. I am no cybersecurity expert or have any major background in that. I really act as an intermediary, bringing people together and facilitating conversations and meetings. And so that's kind of my role with Center for the Future of Arizona. But John and I and a group have been meeting, I think now for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years, pretty regularly. We're going to meet tomorrow. We took a month off, just kind of sharing resources, events, initiatives, and opportunities across the state, specifically around cybersecurity education. And it's K-12 and post-secondary and even folks from things happening in industry or statewide conferences. My focus area really is like trying to connect the dots between cybersecurity education opportunities, things like AZ Cyber Initiative boot camps, Cyber Patriots, all some really great work John has happening up in the Prescott area with college students and community organizations, but statewide, down in Yuma, Pima County, really just looking for opportunities to connect the dots between K-12, post-secondary nonprofits, and cybersecurity education opportunities that are happening. Just as an example, this summer, thinking of you, Ratika, there at Arizona Western, Manny Felix and his team from AZ Cyber Initiative are going to be doing a boot camp for middle school, high school students. I think it's going to be the first one they've done in Yuma. So that's an exciting, opportunity to kind of create connections between the middle schools, high schools, Arizona Western, U of A, ASU, NAU, others that are in the cyberspace. And then we'll be doing one in Cochise County for the first time in Sierra Vista with Manny and his team in a direct collaboration with Cochise College's early college program. And this is just, kind of testing things out to see how we can build these kind of bridges between organizations that sometimes either don't know that they exist or they just haven't been in communication with each other. So that's really my main role. And again, just to emphasize, I do not have, like a background in cybersecurity, analytics or training. It really just as an intermediary and collaborator, and always love working with John. And he's got amazing things happening up in Prescott at the Center for the Future of Prescott, and also at Embry-Riddle and other places. So that's kind of my 2 cents.
Great.
John, take it away.
Thanks, Seth. So, John, you want to add? I'm sure you got lots to add about that.
Well, so yesterday was the, I think, 13th cybersecurity summit for the spring. And so there was a lot of good discussion there, including a talk about workforce development and how we're going to train the future, because as most of you know, we have more jobs than we have qualified applicants. So we're trying to figure out how do we have certificates and badges and training that doesn't require somebody to necessarily go and get a 4-year or a bachelor's or a master's. However, we always caveat that by saying if you want to advance, you need to get the good education, because it's always changing. So that's one of both the good things and the bad things about cybersecurity. And the theme at this year's RSA conference was agentic AI for cybersecurity. What the heck does that mean? So the idea is that maybe we can replace some of the less skilled work that SOC analysts, that's the Security Operations Center, does, and have it be done by machine learning. And then when an alert comes up, the human, who is the only one that can really figure it out, because we don't have robots yet that can go around and hunt, but who knows? Maybe that's coming. So the important thing is that starting to tell people young, and Cyber Patriot, which Sep mentioned, starts now in elementary school. It used to be high school only, and then it went to the middle school, and now it's in elementary school. So if you're not familiar with cyberpatriot.org, you can go there and learn about it. Every year they have the finals for the high school students in DC, and then that helps people learn about the industry, learn about the opportunity, because it's a big tent. You don't need to be a geek to be in cybersecurity. You can be a process person, a proposal person, a planning. There's lots of different areas that need help. And as we've seen, even though I think CISA was lost some of their funding,
John, you want to tell people what CIS is?
Oh, CISA is the Cybersecurity Information Agency that was stood up to try and look at critical infrastructure, because as we pointed out yesterday at the conference, we have some adversaries that are putting stress on our infrastructure, which means water, natural gas, electricity, things that kind of we need. And without those things, we would be in a position of being blackmailed by nation states were we to come up against some big problem. So CISA, we have a regional, we're part of the Western region, Arizona, California, Nevada. And there's 11 regions, I think, in the United States. And the challenge that we have is that there are at least 4 agencies in charge, quote unquote, of cybersecurity in the US. And so if something happens, who are you going to call? So CISA tries to provide services for any public, state, local, tribal entity, including schools and libraries, to give them training, software, to be able to be more secure. And on their website, you can also see things for consumers. But of course, imagine that you're just coming on to the network. Hey, Mr. 480-300-9561, mute yourself.
I just muted him.
Thank you. So it's an exciting time because we're seeing the emergence of an awareness, I think, of the need to train the human, the everyday user. They talk that in Arizona alone, we lost nearly $15 million, which doesn't sound like very much, but Arizona's not that big. And it was targeted about half of it to the older population that are just coming online, that are just learning about how to browse, and they get a phishing email that says, "Oh, wouldn't you like to invest in Bitcoin? Haven't you heard all about it?" And then they sucker them in. So we need to train people. There's so much to talk about. I think even if without the broadband, I think that this is an initiative worth investing in.
Yeah, thanks, John. Is Jerry still with CISA or not?
Our former state rep?
Yeah.
No, I think that he's moved on. I met our new CISA rep at our workshop that we had in the fall, and I can't remember where Jerry went.
Yeah, I knew he was going to be changing, but I didn't know where. I actually tried to reach him to kind of get an update on where he is and what's going on.
Yep.
So I just want to say a couple of things. So Sep and John, thank you very much. And there is lots of folks who are doing cybersecurity, as you can all see. And again, many of those groups are meeting already. collaboratively, but I have been in touch with them about what can we do to address the population of folks that we've been particularly interested in, the new users, people who are just getting a computer for the first time, and how do we help them? I've mentioned this before several times, that I created a cybersecurity alliance back in the 80s to address the needs of small businesses, which I still think is an issue. Though we saw that there was a lot of people who had no idea about cybersecurity, what they should do, what the basics are, and all of that sort of thing. And I know many of you, we've talked about this to some degree in the past, but it's still a big issue for us. And so I'm hoping that even though we may not have the digital inclusion money, that we can still work on the collaborative with the organizations that Sep and John and others represent, to figure out how we can more effectively address the cybersecurity needs of our organizations. So that's that. So anybody else have anything else that they want to? Connor, good to see you. We haven't seen you in a while.
Good to see you as well. Yeah, happy to be back. Yeah, I'll introduce myself just real quick, give a brief update. I'm Connor Osgood. I'm the Ag Tech Program Manager for the Yuma Center of Excellence for Desert Agriculture here in Yuma, Arizona. We're part of the University of Arizona's system down here in Yuma. As some of you may or may not be aware, we're building a very large-scale wireless broadband system for agriculture down here. We grow on about 200,000 acres of land down here. We produce about 90% of the United States winter vegetables. And so all of our farmers down here are very forward thinking, really charging hard into adopting a lot of novel technologies for agriculture, like robotics, drones, different informatic systems like sensor networks, decision support software, AI, the whole spectrum of things that we've seen and haven't seen yet. So that system, it essentially piggybacks off of the middle mile system that we've that Allo has installed here in Yuma. It's going to be 10 gigabits per second to each tower. Let me see, I haven't been here to these meetings in a while. Since the last time that I've been to this meeting, I would like to just provide an update that we've increased the number of towers to our system from the 27 original towers that were in the original proposal. We're now up to 34. The engineers that we've been working with have been hard at work doing their propagation maps, and we've had a lot of meetings moving tower locations around and so forth to really ensure that everywhere in that intended coverage zone gets a good connection, so that we don't have gaps in our fields. The last note of import that I have is recently we had a bill that was signed by the governor, SB 1661, that allows us to form a broadband service district authority for this project. So what that allows us to do is to essentially lease the towers, which are owned by Yuma County, form an authority so that the people who are using the system, i.e. the farmers, the irrigation people, and everybody else involved in the ag industry, that they can be actively involved in the management decisions. They can contract out who the network operators are going to be, make decisions about what technologies are going to go on the tower, all that kind of stuff. So we are, busy at work with that project. We're optimistic that we're going to break ground late this fall on the first towers, with an intended completion of the whole project about 2 years following that. But yeah, a lot of progress on that front. So hopefully you'll be hearing more from us about our wireless ag towers project.
And Connor, I owe you a meeting with Caterpillar and Mary Darling and some other folks. So they were all interested in talking with you. So I will try to get that happening.
Looking forward to it. That would be a great conversation. Yeah, I'd be excited to hear what they have to say and to share what we're doing.
Sounds good. Connor, are you going to be at the conference next week?
I could you share me more information?
Yeah,
I'm
the
just kind of
digital.
jumping in
Well,
blind here.
actually, that's a good segue to, I was going to ask a couple of people. Mariana, since you've been actively involved in helping to plan this conference, do you want to kind of give people a quick update? The Digital Net Inclusion Conference next week here in Arizona, National Conference. Mariana, do you want to just give people a quickie update? Mariana, there
I
you
was
go.
trying to unmute. I'm very sorry.
Okay.
Sometimes my trackpad is not in line, with my fingers moving or something. Yeah, super excited. Next week, the conference starts Tuesday through Net Inclusion. This will actually be, I believe, my 6th Net Inclusion conference. And it's the topics range from cybersecurity, digital navigators, all kinds of programming, and leaders from all over the country will be in attendance. So I will drop the registration. The registration is still open. It's going to be at Gila River, the Wild Horse Pass Sheraton. And yeah, just lots of networking and great sessions. We also have the site tours on Thursday following the conference. That's an additional registration. People may not have seen that because it used to be part of the conference. So if you're interested in the site tours, there will be 3 buses going out to different sites. One tour is specifically Gila River community. Another tour goes to ASU, IDEA, a hive from IDEA, and I believe it's a library on that tour. And another tour goes to several active nonprofits, AZ Strut, that I'm part of, Arizona Students Recycling Use Technology, also Chicanos por la Causa, and Welcome to America Project, and a few more. So really excited about the conference, and I'll drop the registration link into the chat. Any questions?
Thanks, Mary.
Are there any scholarships for attending at this time?
Wow, we did have scholarships, Gordon. I'm so sorry. And I did send an email to the organizers to ask recently if there were any more. Oh, and somebody else dropped the link. Thank you, John. Yeah, so I will let you know, Gordon, if I hear anything else.
Okay.
So if I'm not mistaken, Mariana, that there will be, for at least some of the sessions, that people will be able to participate online.
Yes, live streaming. Yeah, let me find that link as well and send there's a YouTube channel set up for live streaming. So definitely, if you can't attend in person, you can see some of the more popular sessions live streamed.
Obviously, they can't live stream all of the breakout sessions, but the main presentations and so forth will be live streamed.
Yeah, they've chosen a variety already. They tell you exactly which ones are going to be live streamed.
Yeah. Okay. Any other information about the conference? So Fernando, I see you got your hand up, and I was just about to pick on you anyway. I haven't seen you in a while.
Thank you, Mr. Steve. No, I was following that SB 1661 closely through the legislature, and I wonder if Connor could share his contact information with me. I'll put mine in the chat. Like to discuss more about the technology, because there was some specific things that some of the people in the legislature were asking me regarding. And we could talk offline, but I think it's a good thing that, Yuma is going to lead the way across the country in this technology, so I wonder if we could share contact information.
Yep,
So
happy to do so.
Can you tell Connor who you are, please?
I work, sorry, Fernando Roman. I work for the Communication Workers of America Labor Union. We represent, large internet service provider workers like AT&T, Verizon, Lumen, Frontier, Windstream, Ziply, Yeah, call center workers. Yeah, so we follow broadband legislation around the country. So
Sounds good. Yeah, I'll shoot you my email.
thank you.
And Paul, you have your hand raised.
I do. We've got a program that we've been working on for a while that has now come to fruition.
Paul, introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, certainly, Steve. Paul Ross from Phoenix College. I'm the Associate Vice President, Chief Information Officer, and longtime participant in AZBSN, and involved in various projects over the years.
And he's done an amazing video.
Oh, okay.
That I've been trying
I'll
to
put the
share
video down.
every week. So, go on, Paul.
Until I do really version 2. But anyway, I'm also leading a grant right now that we got from the NTIA called Connecting Minority Communities. Now, part of that grant was to create a couple of new CCLs, certificates of completion. And so we've got 2 certificates that we've now finished creating. And unfortunately, due to the extreme timeline of the grant and how we can get things put together, we're actually going to start having these 2 positions available, 2 courses available starting this June. So I'm going to just share my screen very briefly to show you the outline of the program. I'm going to share I'll share the email, not the email, the website address via Steve in the next, probably today, hopefully we'll be done with our website to support it. But we're going to start in June. 1 CCL, and it's going to go from June to December, and the second one's going to go from August to January. Basically, we've got our CCL, and when I'll just share my screen right now so you can see the structure of what we're talking about. There it is there. And you should be able to see the program now. Hopefully you can see that. But basically it's 2 CCLs. Each CCL has 6 credits in it. We're delivering the 6 credits as 1 credit courses, 1 credit per month. And basically it's being delivered in a format where we're offering it live online, 2.5 hours per week for 3 weeks, and then a 6.5 hour session on a Saturday. And that's has a lot more of the hands-on. So it's synchronous online, so it's not just by reading and writing. It will be instructor-led and mediated. And so we've got 6 courses in each of the CCLs. The first course there is digital and wireless technologies, and the second one is wireless optimization. Now, the second course primarily is a lot of the practical hands-on, looking at the actual technology. CBRS technology is also embedded into it, and also an opportunity to get their CPI certification as well for CBRS, and that's in the second one. The first one is really, when you look at the courses, intro to digital divide, digital literacy and access, wireless site surveys, infrastructure and planning, wireless security. So there's a lot of opportunities here. And there are 2 CCLs, they are full credit. And the eligibility is Arizona and the GPA there, but basically Arizona residency. And so this is available to anyone across Arizona. The best thing that I want to mention about it as well, because we are running it through the grant is actually going to help pay for the first 48 students who sign up to be able to undertake the program. And so 48 students will be grant funded, no tuition cost to be able to do this. And so I will send out a link via Steve. I'll send it to Steve either today or early tomorrow with how to access that information and be able to sign up for the program. But we're going to start the program this June, so in just a couple of weeks. So I know it's a rapid turnaround, but we are going to do some pretty heavy outreach in the next few days to try and get students to sign up for it because this grant has got a limited timeline. And so it's taken quite a bit of work to get to this point, to write all the curriculum and prepare all the case studies and to document what's needed. So exciting opportunity here.
Great. Hey, Paul, if you could get that with a short description to me ASAP, since I'm going to be gone most of next week for the conference, that I want to get my newsletter out tomorrow at the latest. So I'd
I'll get
appreciate
that to you today, Steve.
if you could send that to me ASAP. I
Yeah.
greatly appreciate it.
Any questions, anyone?
Okay, any questions? So Sep and John, let's talk offline. I'm thinking that, you guys gave a quick and dirty overview, but as you indicated, there's so much going on in the cybersecurity space that I would like to devote a good deal of time to talking more about, who's doing what. I was actually trying to catch up with Ryan because probably Ryan is into everything cybersecurity that's going on. Ryan is with with Arizona Homeland Security, but you guys, particularly with the kind of the collaborative group that you got going on, it'd be really good to get a more in-depth overview of who's doing what, and then talk about where do we go from here with cybersecurity. So maybe not next week, obviously. Which, by the way, no meeting next week because many of us will be at the conference. So no meeting next week. Yay! I'm sorry. Got a little break from having to do another newsletter right now. But anyway, we'll look forward to. So I encourage you all, if you haven't registered yet for the conference, please do so ASAP, and we hope to see you all there. Okay. Anybody have anything else that they want to share? Grace, thank you for being here this morning. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Isn't it fun to be able to track everything going on in Washington? What a wonderful time, huh?
That's the best.
Okay. Anybody have anything else that they want to share this morning?
Steve, Mark.
Yeah, Mark.
I don't think we've discussed Senate Bill 1322 in Arizona here today. We did discuss it at some length at ATIC board yesterday with some of the same people. But this was the bill that would move the Arizona Broadband Office from the Commerce Authority, a quasi-public agency under state control directly at the Department of Administration. That bill did eventually pass both legislative houses, go to the governor. ATIC and the Tech Council took positions against the bill in the legislature, and then both of us by letter to the governor. The governor did veto that. So that issue is settled for the session, and a win for those of us that believe the Commerce Authority, with its broader economic development focus and engagement outside of government, is the right place for the broadband office.
Thank you, Mark. I meant to bring that up earlier, so thanks for bringing that up. Lucy, do you want to say anything about where we are with our healthcare initiative?
We are just going along. We've had 3 sessions already with a small but mighty group. We're hyper-focused on making Mala's dream come true, which is kind of the telehealth hubs through the libraries, which a lot of that has to do with access funding and then prepping people to be able to actually help and facilitate that, to focus on rural project success scalability, led by Heather. And we were recently joined by Gordon Fuller that brings a focus on disabilities and access. And and Paul Ross actually joined us last time. And so, yes, I think that even if it's a small group, when you show up, there's a lot to take away, a lot to contribute. And if you're there and you have an important objective, then we are trying to work as a team to really root out, is this something we want to put action towards and see if we can actually impact the objective. So I think that we will have a very soft meeting. The next one is on May 22nd, which Mala reminded me yesterday during the board call that that is the last day of the conference. But many of us won't be there, and it's too much of a gap, and there's too many things happening. So I'm going to be there. my partner Rob's going to be there, and if anybody's not going to the conference, I encourage you to attend. So that would be May 22nd. I should probably pop that link into the I'll pop that link into the chat. And I think, Steve, I'm just going to say something because there was some confusion. You know how you send out your weekly meeting?
Yeah. Yeah.
And until we get it up on the Arizona Broadband site, I know Paul and Gordon had a little bit confusion. Where's that link? Where's that link? It is on my calendar, but maybe we send it out in advance when it's happening too, so it's in people's inboxes. Sure. And then, so sure. I'll talk to you about that later.
Sounds good. And okay. Lucy, do you have anything? We're going to be sharing a table with several other organizations here in Arizona who have been part of the planning team for the conference. And I'm going to have some AZBSN flyers, which, by the way, if anybody would be willing to make about 50 copies of that flyer for me, I would greatly appreciate it. But if you have anything that you'd like to share, I'll put it on our space, which is very limited space, by the way. But
that's actually an awesome offer. Thank you, because for our little startup over here, a $1,200 conference fee. I mean, I want to jump on it. I'm a conference junkie, but it was a little hefty. So I'll go out there for the Arizona piece of it. But thank you. I will take you up on that and get you some tickets.
We can work on that, Mariana. We can work on a cheaper. $1,000 is not what you need to be paying for that conference. So if you still want to go, we can see if we can work that out. Mariana, do you know what the latest is with NDIA and what they're trying to do to get people there?
I will try to get an update to people today. I haven't heard anything. We did have some scholarships that we announced probably a month ago, but they have been grabbed.
Last I looked, it was $1,200 to attend. So
yeah, but
FYI.
I think they may have some arrangements. Maybe. I will let everybody know what I find out.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else for today?
If that's the case, then the call will be canceled. Stay tuned.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else for the good of the order this morning? Well, we'll see you all in a couple of weeks. Well, hopefully we'll see many of you at the conference next week. And if not, we'll see you online in a couple of weeks. Fernando, good to see you again. Been a long time.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
You bet.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.
Take care.
Thank you, Steve.
Okay. Bye now. Mike Gorbach, good to see you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Good
Thanks.
to be able to listen in for the first time.
Yeah. So I'm sorry if you've had some problem getting in, but it looks like you got in today.
Finally figured out the technology. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So Aaron,
take care. Good to see you.
Like I said, anything we can do to help support you. I don't know if you can say anything yet about what's going to happen and what's going to happen with you. And we obviously want to make sure that you're hanging around. So
Can you stop recording?
I can, which is a good idea anyway.